Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
A very beautiful morning to you, and of course, happy new month. It's the first day in the month of May 2024, and we are grateful to God for life. And of course, you know, it is Workers' Day, International Labor Day, today, 1st of May, to commemorate, and celebrate workers all around the world. And we here in Nigeria also are doing this. This is to say thank you to everyone who has something going on for them as workers, and also, you know, you are the engine room that keeps the nation moving forward. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, welcoming you especially to this special edition of Morning Spring, where we speak to critical issues, situations in the country, speaking to politicians, policymakers, major stakeholders, to help us have a vivid perspective, a better understanding of situation at hand. You know, I do not do this alone. Femi Ojo is here. Happy new month to you, Femi.
Thank you very much. Happy new month to you too. And of course, everyone watching us right now, from wherever you're watching us from whenever it is in your side. And I mean, the time of the day, be it morning, noon, or evening, in every part of the globe. Once again, good morning and happy new month. There's the 5th month and the year 2024. The death of our Lord. And of course, the first quarter is over. This is the beginning of the, part of the second quarter, if I may use that, by the way. Yeah. But it is what it is. And today is the celebration of the labor movement. And so that's why you see me do this at this point, to say, a luta continua victoria. To the guys cleaning shoes, to the ones at the door of offices, to the big guys upstairs, everywhere, to everyone doing one thing for themselves, coming out of their homes, to go and do something to make ends meet for themselves and their family, going back in the day. For some that might not even have homes to return to. Everyone doing something worthwhile, noble. Today is meant to celebrate you. And so we await. Today is a day of speeches, by the way, from state governors. So, number one himself, President Bola Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, labor leaders across board. Yes, and of course, there will be activities to mark the day as well. We hope the fair situation in town will not hamper, that celebration. May 1st is the day dedicated to workers. And so we, from this end, we celebrate. We celebrate ourselves as well for doing this every day. Thank you very much. It's Morning Spring Television. Welcome.
And of course, we should say happy holidays, because you get to stay at home and actually have a well-deserved rest. I say well-deserved because we know that you have been putting in a lot to ensure that, everywhere that industry or that sector you belong to keep moving. And today, for you to rest at home is actually well-deserved. We get to still get to work, but this is the work we have signed up to do. And, we have to be here for you to stay informed, stay educated, and of course, well entertained. And let's just get right into it, to the papers this morning. Of course, we will definitely be looking at what has gone on, what has actually went on in the country in the last 24 hours. We'll be doing this after the break. Stay with us. All right, welcome on board. Let's see, the papers are in, and let us see what we have right here on board this morning, starting with Daily Trust newspaper for today. On Daily Trust newspaper, we have this big one day for the May Day, and as we can see, the pictures of the numero uno of the nation, and of course the number one labor man in the country. Talk about Joe Ajaero there. And President Bola Tinubu Mayday and also rejects 35% pay rise, insists on living wage. Committee yet to submit report on minimum wage. It is worst moment for workers, Atiku says. Away from that, RAPS and BA students reject electricity tariff hike. After squabble for seats, Senate adjourned plenary. And Jais Bank, ICT signed $20 million deal to boost capital operation. Nigeria's VAT collection efficiency lowest in Africa. This is coming from the House of Representatives Speaker Abbas. Top strip, Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Kidnappings out of school children worry northern governors, and it should actually worry any serious government. Ipman threatens shut down over 200 billion naira claims. And Nigerians are actually suffering at this time. Fuel scarcity, hiking fuel price all around the country. And Niger, ex-president Niger, ex-president Issoufou behind my dad's ouster, Bazoum's daughter, speak. And this morning, the special edition, we have joining us live in the studio, Ladiji Alabi, to give some analysis to some of the stories we have read out, or we will read out this morning. Welcome on board, Ladiji Alabi. Happy New Month and happy Workers' Day.
The best wishes to you, Evelyn, and good morning to you too, Femi.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And today, that particular title,
Comrade.
Yeah. So
are you going to reject it again?
You speak. No, you don't.
Evelyn, you know, like normally I would do, because the moment you put the title Comrade, then there may be some problem hanging around somewhere. So let me just stay with my name. I am Ladiji.
I love it. All right, so let's just start with this particular one. It's May Day, and on Daily Trust,
May Day.
And also rejects 35% pay rise, insists on living wage. And of course, we got that particular statement from Mr. President saying that there will be an increment in the wages of workers, 35%, and also he's saying no, we are not dealing with minimum wage anymore. We want you to give us a living wage.
Evelyn, we are not ready to get out of this back and forth. First of all, I would fault the government coming out to say 25%, 35% increase, because already you have a committee set up to, deal with this, and I'm not sure they are back with their report yet. So why rush to, I think what Nigerian government do most of the time is let's give these people something to shut up. Let's just give them something that they will chill for the moment and forget all the noises they've been making. I also looking at, currently we have 30,000 as a minimum wage, so 25% increment, what does that take us to? 35% increment, what does that take us to? Does that really change the reality of things on ground?
Yeah.
Does that really mean as a worker? And don't forget also that for some states that they are civil servant-based states, the implication of that is the moment artisanals, marketers outside here, government has increased your salary, they care less about how much tops your salary. All they know is they've increased your salary. Let us also because it is what they get from this salary, from this salary earners that they also use in running their business. So I think government should take calm, look at the real situation to stabilize the economy. Not until you stabilize the economy. I'm not always a fan of just jacking the salary up, because that will also hide the inflation. Stabilize the economy. Let us know where we are going first. All this propaganda about naira to dollar, stop it. Stabilize the economy, fight insecurity. If the economy works right, Femi, even with a salary of 30,000, 50,000 naira, if the economy is good, if food prices come down, people will be able to, survive. But at the rate of things now, Evelyn, even if they pay you 200,000 naira a month, it doesn't cover. Look at it. Currently, people are fighting their lives to get fuel in filling stations. The prices of transport has gone up. I had someone yesterday wanted to travel to Lagos, and from Osogbo to Lagos is now 10,000 naira.
Amazing.
Remove that from your salary. If you have something important to do in Lagos, come back 20,000 naira. You earn about 50,000 naira. What remains? You have to pay your children's school fee. You have to do a lot of things. then still you have, maybe if you are lucky enough to have both parents alive, you have to take care of them. Now, so all these things put together, even if you earn 100,000, 200,000, that doesn't make any sense to you. So, but if we make the economy work, even with the salary of 50,000 naira, you will still be able to take something home at the end of the month.
All right, but don't you think that people are saying that a bird in hand is worth 1,000, more than 1,000 in the bush? You know, this salary structure is to take effect from January 1st, 2024, so they are going to backdate it. So don't you think, even while the NLC is still fighting for living wage, they should just allow this pay rise while they go ahead to fight for their living wage?
Evelyn, now let me ask you this question. A bird in hand, as a matter of fact, it's better you keep looking. In Nigeria case, so don't keep a bird in hand and, you know, say it is better than because Nigerians, they know how to toy with our intelligence. They know how to. And let me ask the question, Evelyn. Okay, so if the government agrees, okay, we want to backdate this, then who caters for the people in the private sector? How many private sector companies currently in Nigeria can afford it, except those in banking sector and maybe some other ones that get, you know, serious funding? The local ones, the ones based in Osogbo, Oyo, Ibadan, you know, even the local ones in Lagos that are not having funding from abroad. It is what they earn here that they use in paying their worker salary. How many of them can afford to pay? How many of them have not had, you know, sales drop in the last few 4, 5, 6 months? How many of them are not spending more on buying diesel in the last 5, 6 months?
Operational cost.
Operational cost. So how do you want them to afford this 25%, 35%? Government should not just announce for announcement's sake. We should make the economy work. If the economy works right, if you support the private sector economy also, fund them if need be, give them loans if need be, not all these tight bottleneck loans that we're talking about. Give them good loans, let them be able to employ more people, let them be able to pay people good salary, then let the economy work. You are just there like an umpire, just, you know, prepare a level playing ground and a workable environment, ease of doing business. Don't let it just be on paper, let it be in reality. Then we're talking about, you know, moving the economy of the nation forward.
All right, thank you, Ladeji, for your submission this morning. That will be all from the Daily Trust.
From trusting what the Daily Trust are, so we move to the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper is next. May Day. Federal government approves pay rise for workers as labor leaders lament hardship. Of course, federal government approves pay rise for workers as labor leaders lament hardship. With riders ask workers to prepare for struggles ahead. Nigerian workers have never had it so bad. That's coming from Atiku Abubakar. Say citizens subsidizing corruption, inefficiencies of government. And Kalu applauds workers' commitment to national development. Glow lost Nigerian workers and sacrifices. Federal government declares today public holiday, and federal government is putting in place measures to mitigate plans of policies. That's coming from the APC. Moving on, this one says introduction visit. You see Mr. Cardoso there, flanked by some gentlemen and a lady. Talking about Ms. Shaham Shodari, or the outgoing World Bank country director in Nigeria, and Usara, deputy governor operations, and of course other men, because of time, men and the lady rather. Moving on, fierce scarcity. 8 vessels discharge over 300 million liters at Apapa of the ports. Page 19 has that. Maybe it is too, but we're talking about supply here. The NNPC has kept its position to say we have enough. So if actually 8 vessels have just discharged over 300 million liters at Apapa, the way to see if actually it's meant to cushion the effect or solve the problem. But NNPC is saying otherwise now. Moving on the sporting scene. NFF wanted foreign coach, not Finidi. That's coming from the Prince of Monaco, Victor Ikpeba. That's on the sporting scene. We wish Mr. Finidi. Many persons are, a bit skeptic about this choice of Judge Finidi as the next substantive coach of the Super Eagles because of how, not because of his credential, because of how the NFF usually handle or deal with indigenous coaches. And Nigeria's VAT collection, lowest in Africa. Speaker Abba, in Nigeria's VAT collection, the lowest in Africa. Sanwo-Olu restates commitment to improve lives of Lagos residents. Receives Vanguard Award notification. And the humorous part of Vanguard has Mr. and Mrs. and Mr. say, so what is the definition of love? And Mrs. answers, real love. And the man says, yes. And then a joint account where the man only deposits and only the woman withdraws. That is the, definition of real love from Mrs. Let the man be depositing and let the woman be withdrawing. How convenient is that? Quickly, we've talked about labor and some of these the issues now. But let me quickly look at the sporting scene. Well, and Finidi George Ladeje has been announced as the substantive coach of the Super Eagles. We're waiting for the unveiling, by the way. And he by saying this morning, NFF wanted foreign coach, not Finidi. But since that news broke, many persons have been skeptic, not really too excited, not because of the resume of Finidi, but because of the antecedent of the NFF and the way they deal with indigenous coaches. They're taken.
Femi, I will share the same thoughts. I've followed Nigerian football for at least more than 20 years now, and I can tell you for free that there has never been a time that the NFF gives the support they give to the white man to our local coaches. I know at a time, as of yesterday or 2 days ago, even the former coach, Christian Chukwu, claimed the NFF is still owing him 19 months' salary after he had left Ends of Affairs as the coach of the Super Eagles.
Yeah.
This is the same man that was sick last year and people were rallying around to raise funds for him. It's a shame. The same thing you couldn't do. The moment they say foreign coach, you raise an alarm, you are owing me, they look, for every means to get this money paid. As a matter of fact, at the time that this NFF was paying, an unconfirmed report said they were paying a local coach who they appointed as Super Eagles coach around 3 or 5 million naira then.
Family.
The next thing they brought in a foreign coach then was earning $50,000, a house in Abuja, an official car. And the funniest thing, this coach only says he will stay in Nigeria when they have matches. He travels back to Germany and all. And what did we do? We went to the World Cup, failed woefully. We brought a Swedish coach who, by his name, Lars Lagerbäck, took us two back.
Lagerbäck.
We've had series of foreign coaches that have not done so well.
Betty Vogt at the time.
We had Betty Vogt. We have, a lot of funny coaches. And we pay them so handsomely. We give them this preferential treatment, but we don't give such to our local guys.
The same treatment.
These guys, what they enjoy over there is support. They believe. Carlo Ancelotti, the coach of Real Madrid last season, was meant to be sacked. But the president of the club said, no, we are keeping faith with you. We know you can do this job. Because you can't have it every time. You can't have your A game every time. And they had faith in him and they kept him. Xabi Hernandez was meant to leave Barcelona at the end of the season. But the president said, oh, come, guy, we know you had a very terrible season, but we are keeping faith with you again. So that Finidi George is the current coach of the Super Eagles. That he did not do well in the first few months doesn't mean we should just, nail him. NFF, come, guy, we are giving you all the necessary support. We hands off your players because I know the NFF guys would also want to put their eyes. Who are you inviting? Are you inviting one of my guys? Let the coach.
Quickly, that part that you are talking about, some fans too are not too comfortable with the decisions of the local coaches because they believe there is always interference. We had a coach, I think the former coach, who said, leave me to my decision. But when it comes to local coaches, you see interference from there, and the fans will feel, oh, it's because he has collected some dollars. Oh, it's because he has done this.
Apparently, it happens everywhere in Nigerian football, even in local club sides. Management want to interfere. I've watched a local game just to round it up. That it was the chairman of the club that came to make the substitution on the game. The coach was there. Then why did you appoint a coach? If you wanted to do the job of a coach, add that to your job as the chairman of the club. I think the NFF long story short, should just give Finidi George the necessary support. Then if he's not doing well, after a couple of times, you can ask him
in
to
a minute,
go.
Finidi George hasn't really handled any national team before.
No, he hasn't.
He came from age group, I think, club side in Spain or so. He's FIFA licensed, by the way. And then he came to Imba.
Well, Femi,
and he hasn't really won significant.
He hasn't won any. No, he won the league with Imba last season.
No, I mean on the continental level.
On the continental, he hasn't
and you are
won
taking
anything.
over a Super Eagles job.
Well, Femi.
With the pressure.
Femi, Zinedine Zidane hasn't had any senior team experience before he started coaching Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And he won Real Madrid the Champions League back to back.
That's club football.
Club football, of course, yes. He's coaching.
I'm talking about the pressure from Nigerian fans. You know also.
The pressure. do you know the pressure from club fans? I know Nigerian fans are not calm people. They always want the result.
Right.
But also, I think we just need to give. He is the one that the NFF have chosen now. Let's give him the support. Let's see what he can bring to the table. Give him the necessary support. Don't interfere in his player selection. You can just advise him. But let him, he knows his pattern of play. He knows what he wants to play. He knows the player that will fit into his pattern. Please give him at least the last Nations Cup we won was won to us by a local coach whom we did not believe. He took a player from the MPFL, a player we did not believe in. So let us just let Finidi do his job.
Yeah, all the best to Finito.
All right, all the best, Finidi George. We move over to the Punch newspaper this morning. Let's see what we've got here. Workers' Day, Labour laments rising food prices, fuel crisis. Reps, NLC, NBA students reject electricity tariff hike, lament rising inflation. Queues worsen gridlock. Commuters stranded, more vessel discharge. PMS. And pregnant woman, 8 others injured in Lagos gas explosion. Sad news there, just out of the rivers, the explosion, tanker explosion that happened in River State, and now we are moving over to Lagos State. 200 billion naira debt. Ipman threatens closure of 30,000 filling stations. 155 stranded Nigerians repatriated from Libya. FG offers free ride as Port Harcourt battering service resumes. Interpol pushes extradition of Binance chief from Kenya. Naira rebounds as dollar supply hits $7 billion in 2 months. FG raises salaries of military, police, others. And Dangote refinery gets valid operating license soon, coming from the federal government. Ladiji, very quickly, let's talk about the threat by the independent marketers, Ipman rather, to close 30,000 filling stations, saying that they are still being owed about 200 billion naira. I'd like to read, part of the statement said by the chairman of Ipman recently or yesterday in Abuja. The chairman said at a stakeholders meeting held on the 20th of February 2024 with Mr. Aineken Lokpobre, the Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources, and the NSA Nuhu Ribadu, Engineer Farouk Ahmed, the Chief of Authority of NMDPRA, was mandated by Mr. Lokpobre to clear the entire debt in 40 days. They said they were only paid 13 billion naira, and now they are requesting for the 200 billion naira debt to be paid. Else, they would ask their members or shut down 30,000 filling stations, and we know what Nigerians are grappling with at this time. How do you think, we can actually wriggle out of this quagmire or conundrum, whatever you might want to call it? And, federal government or people at the arms of affairs are quick to promise. But when it comes to, making good of their promises, they are looking at the other way.
Well, it is what it is, Evelyn. And that's why I always say that I don't believe Nigerian government one bit. They say one thing today, they act another thing. And that's the way, that has been trajectory of events over the years. And that is why it is difficult for people to believe you guys. Even while you are on the negotiation table, the people you are negotiating with are only looking at you like this, say what you want to say and let us go. Because they know the moment they are out of that meeting, it is all lies. How will you be open? Now, these people are in business to make profit. They also have other things to do with their life. They have families to take care of. So if you are owing people jointly, you are owing them over 200 billion naira, that is a serious situation. That means you are telling them you guys should run out of business invariably. So if you are owing them over 200 billion, you have paid 13 billion, like you mentioned, or 30.
13.
13. That is even less than 10% of the money you are owing them.
Yes.
It shows you don't have the attitude. You are a perpetual debtor and you don't have attitude of repaying. They are literally like many Nigerians that borrow loan and don't want to pay back.
So it's a Nigerian thing.
No, of course, yes. It's an attitude thing, with many Nigerians, not with many of us actually. But what I'm about to say is this: already, even without this strike of 18, you see the crisis we are currently facing.
Yeah.
A lot of people are out there stranded. Thank God there is public holiday today. At least gives a lot of people, students, relief. They won't be, under the stress of we are looking for vehicles, we are looking for, a lot of things. But beyond that, if we should add a strike, if we add their strike to what we currently have on our hands, Evelyn, then that spells doom. Because apparently we can't run a lot of things without this failed thing and the situation we have in our hands. So the government just need to show seriousness in dealing with issues like this. These are issues of national importance. You are running a lot of people out of business, and the implication of the ripple effect of this is that you have more of breakdown of laws and orders, and if there is break of law and order, even the coastal road you want to do, you will not be able to construct. Okay,
you have to mention the coastal highway. Definitely, we will definitely be speaking to issues affecting that particular, because it has elicited a lot of controversy from major stakeholders, even politicians and opposition are speaking about that, Femi.
Of course, I want to thank you, Ladiji. Thank you for your time and take, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, and the holiday as well. It's actually the announcement of Tunji has to do with you. But anyway, thank you. And of course, we take a pause right now. When we come back, we speak to issues. Today is May Day. The workers have been talking, the government have been talking, the employers, the employees, public sector, private sector. We speak to these and more. I will be after now. All right, you're welcome back. And as we all know, and as we have said repeatedly on the program, today is May Day, 1st of May every year. It's a day put together to commemorate, to celebrate, to identify challenges. It's a day entirely about workers all across, I think it's a global thing, really. And so in Nigeria, the Nigerian workers are not left out of this celebration. Now, to look at it, is it really a celebration considering the time we are in right now? Many issues, ground challenges, but definitely, the labor space, the movement to Nigerian workers from the formal to the informal. And the issue of salary increase is one that will never go away, really. And then we learned about that, the labor, talking about the organized labor, the NLC, Nigeria Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, the TUC, both leadership led by Joe Ajero and Comrade Usifo. By the way, they have been speaking on this matter. We learned propositions have been made as concerning what the real figure should be, talking about a new minimum wage. And we even learned that some of them are saying, don't give us minimum wage. We want a living wage, something, that we can live on. And these are some of the issues. Yesterday or 3 days ago, we learned the governor of Edo State, Godwin Nusahase Obaseki, increased the minimum wage in Edo State from 30 at a time to 40, like a few months ago. And then now he has increased it to 70. Many persons are having that conversation already. But when we talk about nationally, there's this committee, a tripartite committee put together by the federal government, involving all stakeholders from the states to the federal to, people, labor union leaders. And we learned they are supposed to have come out with a position maybe by the end of March. This is the 1st of May, and nothing concrete is being postulations. And talks and the rest of it. But today is Workers' Day. We'll look into this and more. We know chief among these is about remuneration. But many persons are saying, how about working conditions? How about people being, slaving away, if I may use that word, because a particular organization that's supposed to have 5 workers might end up having 1 or 2. And so those 2 will be doing the work of 5 persons, still earning the salary of 1 person. Many issues. We have been joined this morning by a stakeholder in that particular labor movement. He's a labor enthusiast. And of course, if call him a human rights activist, that's right. And of course, a public affairs analyst. Comrade Lanre, Fadahunsi. He joins us live.
Good morning, glad to be here with you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you for
having you on a day like this. Today is Workers' Day, and it's a day that you expect that there will be activities, put together. Workers will go to stadium, speeches will be made nationally, subnationally. But what we have in our hands right now, the scarcity of fuel, not just that it's scarce, it's very expensive, not easy to get, by the way. But in the middle of all this, in which we'll look into the nitty-gritty very shortly, do you think that celebration that's today supposed to bring for the workers, will you say it's part of the challenges, is still worth it? May Day celebration.
May Day celebration will always be worth it. There are lessons that people are supposed to learn from the history of this celebration. And probably because of lazy attitude of finding out things is why leadership don't track events and happenings. The solidarity song that workers sing, Solidarity, was written in 1915. The writer was a journalist, they call him radical journalist, who felt the workers were being treated very badly. However, why I said leadership had not taken interest in knowing what brought about some of these things,
right,
it was because it became a revolution at that time. That they said, no, we're not taking any more of this. You guys have taken untold millions, part of the lyrics of that song, that you did not toil to earn. Is that not the story of what we are seeing here now? It goes close to 1 year now. By May 29th, this administration would have stayed 1 year in office. And we are still discussing minimum wage. After the 2 pronouncements had done that monumental damage to our local currency. The labor leaders are doing the little they can, but you see, it's like government should know that they should prevent that revolt. Because at some point, when your back is against the wall, people stand up, and that's what leads to what we now have today. We're talking about he started writing that song, Ralph Chaplin started writing it in 1913,
right,
and concluded in 1915, January 15, 1915, when they had that hunger revolution. It was part of it. So some of these things touches the heart of some of us when we look at it, that look, people are not being conversant with history. And it's sad. Do you know, sir, that the very day the president said subsidy was gone, we just saw the example of it just 3-4 days ago when fuel scarcity started. Immediately, Okada riders have changed their cost because that's what they bought. So imagine now that from May 29th of last year, workers have started paying almost twice to get to work. Almost immediately. Market women will not buy at 1,000 and now say because we are selling at 700, we will be selling. Do you get it? All those people have factored those changes in their own lives into their businesses. So the worst hit are those who are earning that regular income, and you delay till now. However, the reality is that our president, by June 23, 2023, had been collecting double of what Buhari was taking.
How do you mean? As
recommended by Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. Down the line for legislators, down the line for the House of Assembly, for the judiciary. Perfected. And workers are still talking about, you see,
you come with superior argument with people when you are talking about issues of this nature. All of the problems we have today in Nigeria was because we said, oh, American dollar. Sorry, Femi.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider why the Chinese supermarket decided to be collecting yen and selling only to Chinese people? Because no reasonable nation will leave your own currency and put all power of prominence on another person's currency. Because they know at the rate of yen, it's supposed to be much cheaper. But because Nigeria has killed the naira by themselves, you are now saying we should do, and we are now holding them. Why should they be doing that in Nigeria? Why shouldn't they?
It's illegal.
Hello?
You can't force your currency on us.
They are not forcing it out. They didn't tell Nigerians to come and buy. Don't you understand?
These are sovereign states.
Hello, sir. Do you know what I'm now telling you?
Yeah.
Just like we have said everybody can carry dollar, it means they can carry their yen in our country. Do you get? It's for us to make a policy statement that nobody should carry foreign currency on our land. So because we have allowed dollars to be carried by everybody, they can carry their own yen as well. And they said, so we will not be contravening the laws of your land. Majority of the bulk of what you buy and sell by domestic needs are produced from China. So how can you use American currency to determine our price? It's for our citizens. They may not even call it a shop. They may call it a trade by barter, bring your yen and take something. But we are complaining, but the reality of our life as a nation is what they have shown us. So all this illegal, fine, but the truth is the reality they have shown us. Sir, we're talking about this issue of these Chinese people and the rest. Do you also know that when all these problems started, the workers have started filling the banks? We are still discussing what are we going to pay them. Let us now look at the owner of the dollar, the United States of America. Is on record. The least paying state in the United States is Mississippi. The least paid worker earns $48,000 in a year in the state of Mississippi. The American president earns $400,000 factored. Do you get the drift? Which means the least paid American citizen earns more than 10% of what the president of America earns. And today, Mr. President of Nigeria earns 8 million every month. Factor it. If indeed we are saying, let's look at 10%, the worst, that's going to be the worst. Because we're talking about Mississippi that pays, if we are using dollar.
Yeah.
So you get.
Comrade Fadahunsi, so that we just put a contest, we are going to look into that. And before Evelyn comes in, talking about the origin, as we have it, of International Labour Day. Of course, the specific day is today, May 1st. And we learned it was chosen to commemorate a nationwide strike for an 8-hour workday that commenced on that day in 1886. And the pivotal event, however, culminated in the Haymarket affair in Chicago, a regrettable incident where a labor protest escalated into violence. And it's more than this, but then the labor movement has always come from a place of struggle.
Yeah.
That this is what this is saying, that it's always come from a place of need, necessity, and so people who have always put themselves out to say, enough of these, bad treatment, we must just, emancipate from all of these. Now, from the US to Nigeria, to every part of the globe, let's look at the labor union. Beyond the remuneration, what are the issues? What are the challenges of the labor movement in Nigeria? And I'm not even talking about the NLC as a body or the TUC as a body. I'm talking about the average Nigerian worker.
Yeah.
Not just with Tinubu. These issues have always been there. Okay. But you are a labor enthusiast. What will you say are maybe 2, 3, 4 things that have always been the challenges over the years and have remained unsolved till now?
Yeah. Because those who have been leading us as a nation have appeared deliberate in dodging issues that can solve all these problems. And I will still go back to because of the issue of America. You get the Chicago thing you were talking about was the 1915 January issue that escalated and went wild. Now, you can say how much the president of America earned. His wife Jill earned about 80-something thousand last year. That way shows you the systemic issues you cannot circumvent. the amount of what the couple paid as donations to people. You understand? So, and even royalties on their books is recorded. So when you have a system that does not put in place control measures, how can you tell me as a worker that I should take transport to my workplace and then from that little income, I remove all of that? And you, as my president or governor or local government chairman, use free fuel paid for by government. The American president pays for his meals in the White House. If he organizes a private party that is not a government function, he must pay. They bring him his bill. We saw those systems. We are not copying them. We have merchants in positions of statesmen. We cannot move forward. That's why we have that recurring issue.
Talking about Nigeria?
Yes, about Nigeria. Did we have such issues in the days of Awolowo? We did not. Because they created schools that their own children could attend. The school principals were becoming governors. So it's not about, it's about what you can bring to the table, not how much you are holding. But we have turned the tables, we have lost the morality of it, and that's where we are today. That's why we keep being there. Look at Rwanda. With all the wars and crises, one leader. The people they're better off now. Look at Botswana. They know the value of education, they put it in the front burner, but hey, look at us here. A lot of people...
Comrade Fadahunsi, when we use the example of Rwanda, many persons will say, Paul Kagame wasn't a Democrat. He had to whip them in line. And this is a democracy.
Was Rawlings a Democrat?
I'm saying this because some of these things will come with its challenges.
No. What I'm saying now is...
them in line.
You don't get... What I'm saying is, one man. There was this song long ago. It said, all I need is one mic. One man. You need just one man. His attitude, his morality, that's why we still mention Awolowo's name. If it had been somebody else, would have done differently.
Right.
There was a Sankara that was replaced by Kampauri. And tables turned. The morality left and the immoral took over. The greed came and the needs were not met. So these are the things I'm talking about. It's not about the process, whether it's democratic or whatever. In some places, if you are with a genuine heart, look at Mwalimu Nyerere of Tanzania. He was not a merchant. While he was retiring, I think they gave him a gift of a tractor. He wanted to go into farming as a president for a long time. He wanted to go into farming. He said he cannot even afford to buy a tractor. So that's the kind of thing we are talking about. That if you have a system and a merchant or somebody with mercantile orientation is leading you, then it has to be about profit. That's the missing link. But when we have statesmen in position, they are thinking, I almost wept when I watched a piece on Addition or whatever. If you look at that, you will see all over the world is celebrated. The American system believed the African Development Bank cannot make any impact in Africa. Just put a leader there and let him just steal.
He was even accused.
He was accused. He was not almost going to be given a second time.
He stood aside and said, go ahead.
Go ahead and do what you want to do. But you can't force that kind of thing because you look at his book of records and see that this person is making incursions. That's where we're going. It takes the leader. You must lead from up front. If I'm a leader in Nigeria today, I will tell you how much dollars I have and say I'm taking it to CBN. Everybody in Nigeria that holds as little as $100, you go to jail.
So, Comrade, are you going to call President Tinubu a merchant or a statesman?
No. I'm not. I'm talking about the Nigerian situation. It's a very terrible situation.
We are still talking about the Nigerian
you know what
situation.
I'm saying? In Nigeria is where, as a politician, you become a billionaire. You don't have any factory. You don't produce anything. Don't you see the danger in that?
Of course. Comrade, you said it can only take one man to change things around.
President Tinubu can become Paul that became Saul, or Saul that became Paul on the way to Damascus. So there's nobody that cannot take a 360 degrees. If you're talking about Marx and Engels in socialism, Karl Marx was from a very rich family. He was a bourgeoisie. He said he's committing class suicide because the masses cannot continue to suffer. There must be that mindset to do good. Do you know that as daughters of the American president when Obama was there is children cannot by themselves say they want to take a state thing and just here you see children of president carrying presidential jets to watch what's it called, the boat regatta or something. There are certain things that the system must stipulate, and the laws must affect everybody, not just be selective.
Okay, with all what you have stated, it seems we have taken a massive retrogression from where we are coming from. That means we have not made progress. You know, today is May Day, so let's talk to the issue of labor. We have not made any significant progress, you know, when we talk about the workers. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. You see, for leadership and followership too, you must look at, can this man wake up happy in his home today? Can his children gladly say they're Nigerians? I'll tell you what we experienced as young people. My mom was a school teacher, an educationist and all. Every 4 years, she gets a car loan. She does not buy Tokumbo. And that will be deducted from her income. And at the dot of 4 years, she has paid up for a brand new car.
A federal worker.
State worker. And at the end of those 4 years, due also for another car loan. There is, how did you see people that will say, oh, my house in London, you pay over like 25 years by mortgage. That's when you give quality of life to people and they are not too busy looking for stealing money, because, I mean, the system has taken care, graded their needs and taken care of it.
But that's a system, not an individual, isn't it?
That's a system, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you'll be talking about having quality individual.
One person.
But that quality individual is now what I'm saying, that you must, like Chief Awolowo said, any leader that wants to lead must fight the tyranny of the flesh. Even the Bible says the flesh is weak. I'm a Christian, that's why I'm. You understand? That tyranny of the flesh is what makes you steal what you don't need. Sir, a case in point, Yahaya Bello. Look at the counts that EFCC have listed.
Allegation.
Wait a minute. Counts that they have listed. They have traced money. They have traced money leaving my sister. And the day it left her, it came to Femi. And that same day, Femi paid same amount to somebody for a house and a property at my Tama. Those are the links.
Right. So
you begin now to wonder, paying 5 years school fees in dollars.
Up front.
That one you won't say the school has refunded. So it goes to show the kind of mentality that our leadership have carried on with over time. Property in Dubai and all the rest of those places. If you take all the wealth of Nigeria to America, American system will absorb it. When it does, American citizens can take facilities and bolster their credit cards. Their citizens are okay. So why should their country tell you you are messing up yours? It is not their duty to do. It is our responsibility to tell them, look, wait a minute, it's good you gave us enlightenment and education. It is best for us to use and utilize it to the benefit of our people.
But is that not what this administration is trying to do? You know, recently the president, through the vice president, said that they have been able to deal with economic sabotage. And we know what this administration has done. Talk about the case of Yahaya Bello, the ex-CBN governor, and some other people. And also,
the American report of recent about the last election said people that were profiled as corrupt have been given appointments. That's indicting. But those people must write their report. They were sponsored by agencies and all from the US. And you must report what you saw on ground. Do you get the drift? So there are certain things, systemic change. We must be guided by laws that we have made. You don't make those laws for some people. And then, do you recall that there was fracas, well reported, we are journalists, we should be sincere with what we do. You understand? That they had altercations, EFCC and DSS and and some fact. And the former EFCC chairman said he had profiled the number of outgoing governors, profiled the number of former governors who are senators that had cases to answer. What happened to those files? That's why some people are now trying to politicize Yahya Bello's case, that it was because of his stance on President Tinubu's, you get. And of course, we all knew that even Emefiele himself wanted to become president. You get. So to a lot of people, that's the APC politics.
So you consider this a witch hunt?
Oh, well, in a way, but he was a criminal. But if indeed he committed those, if indeed he committed those offenses, it was criminal to the Constitution of Nigeria. So I mean, how when people will sing their own song is what determines. And there will always be a king that will no longer recognize Joseph someday, because everybody will have to. For instance, Femi, look at it this way, sir.
Yeah.
Till tomorrow, in trickles, Abacha's money is still coming back. Can't people reason? Can they? That the moment they are tired of what you have kept and they want to act only, they start sending it back. But a lot of people would have suffered, and I don't account it. Fine, okay, and good. The government is thinking along the line of, okay, allowing Nigerians the respite of being able to, at least once you have a job, get some credits to take care of. You get them. They are copying that one right. Right? If they do it holistically well, because when we make rules, it appears it's for one side and not for another. Settle. So Nigeria is workable, and that's why a lot of people are shouting that we need to come back to the basics. The central bank governors should tell us, why can't we go back to the Naira card days? If you want to buy something in England, why do you need dollars from CBN? If you want to buy from China, why not just transact in their currency against our Naira? It would have strengthened our Naira more. But another thing that we should interrogate is that Ali Ndume has been in the Senate, I think, more than maybe 3 or 4 times now. Do you get it? Said each time the allocation drops for the agencies of government, for the federal government, state, and local government, the price of dollar will go up. Insinuating that people steal in Naira by virtue of their positions and just buy up dollars and stash. So there is no amount they buy it that hurts them. They didn't toil for the money. It was toiling. And you look at the last 4 or 5 months of last year, a lot of messy issues. 30 billion, because they felt, oh, this is remaining money. We don't need to leave money in the account so that it won't go back to treasury. Oh, yeah, move. That type of money, if you say dollar is 2005, of course, has he lost anything? But he knows the value of the dollar is okay, is internationally recognized. To me, the answers are there. It is the will to do that is missing.
Comrade, you're talking about a systemic corruption.
Yeah.
Will it just take one man to change the tide?
Leadership from up front will always do things. Do you know that?
Knowing that we still have the state tier, the local government tier, will it take just one man?
Don't get it. For instance,
the legislature, the judiciary.
No, for instance, do you know, at least you should know, that the entire revenue that goes to all 36 states and 774 local governments is not up to half of the national revenue.
Sure.
So the bulk is the federal government. How many of us can get to Abuja and say, Oga Tinubu, I'm a needy? You get? I mean, but you can go to the local government chairman. Those things, the moment leadership from up front, do you get the drift of what I'm trying to say? That, okay, if you have wealth that you cannot account for, you must cede it. I am ceding. We forget so easily. Do you remember there was a time somebody was trying to say snitching? May not be, I don't like people snitching, but saying, look, then Ashwad was not president. That 100 billion tax was not paid. Do you remember? It was a long drawn issue. These are some of the things that, it is true, my companies did so. I'm not everywhere I cannot be. I am paying the 100 billion to the Treasury of Nigeria. I've always been a businessman. You get, But every Nigerian that is owing, every Nigerian that cannot account for their wealth must forfeit to government. You will see how rich this nation has always been. Because people, a lot of monies people collect without records. They just remove from treasury. And over time, people have forgotten, they have moved on.
Comrade, I think what Evelyn was trying to say is, if there is, quote and unquote, a righteous man, let's just put it that way, somebody who stands above board at the center in Abuja, he won't administer for the states. He won't administer the 774 local government you're talking about. He won't even administer for the FCT. I understand it calls the shot as the leader, but then there are separation of powers. He won't administer the National Assembly. He won't do that at the judiciary.
Did you see video clips?
Yeah.
Of.
And this is a democracy.
No. Did you see video clips?
Yeah.
Of senators and members of the National Assembly that went to their constituencies and they met Cain. Did you watch those video clips? Serious flogging. If the number one leader has shown compassion, has shown commitment and integrity, people will start asking those people questions. As a person, if I'm president of Nigeria, I will cancel that so-called immunity clause.
Wouldn't that be too much distraction?
What is distraction? Am I the one to go to court if they even take me to court on issues? I won't commit crime because I know it will distract me. Do you get? But
you don't have to commit crime before
somebody can fabricate crime.
I know.
Some people can be that mischievous.
That's right.
Sir, ma.
Mentally, you won't be settled, is it?
Who is it? There is a lie.
You don't think so?
It is a lie of the devil. Why? Okay, those who have left, see, court. Is he not still going to court? The Yaya Bello case.
But he's out of office.
Has he appeared in any of these places they said he should come? The truth is, it's our system, and just like Ralph Chaplin did way back then, all of us must know that the burden will still rest on us if we keep quiet. The Yorubas say that Tiara Leyon Banje Kokoro Tioda then you soften. Toba di oru. That once it does something daytime and at night, the sound you will be making when you sleep will not allow you to sleep. So it's honestly, because I studied Awolowo like a book, a whole epic book, you understand? And you realized part of his statement was that when people were busy at parties and all, he was at his table thinking how they can chart a course for Nigeria to go forward. Do you get the truth? Cocoa merchants and farmers were happy in his days. Go and plant your cocoa. When you harvest, make sure the crops come out fine. We'll buy off you.
There's a market waiting.
We'll sell for you. That was the origin of how Cocoa House came up. That's the kind of leadership. Leadership must be thinking not business for me, but growth for the community so they can cascade down.
Yeah.
The wrong bottom of the ladder. But we're taking differently down.
Yeah, Comrade, the time is really moving very fastly. And let's talk about remuneration right now. We learned yesterday through the media that the federal government has approved a salary increase of between 25% and 35% for civil servants, on the remaining 6 consolidated salary structures. And that move is coming, of course. It came yesterday, the eve of today's May Day. And it is made in a statement contained in a Tuesday, that was done yesterday, Tuesday, by the head of press at the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, NSRWC, Emmanuel Njoko, and we learned it will take effect. It will be backdated to January 1st. And, everybody involved are there, but because of time, but we're learning that the Labour has rejected it to say, this is not ours. And in fact, we learned the Labour leader say, this is the worst time in history for Labour. Do you agree? You share the same
Very true, very true. But another thing
that
is,
Labour has never had it this bad.
I have seen the handwriting on the wall. When one of the aides of the vice president went somewhere and gave a hint that the hope that there will be a pronouncement on minimum wage on May Day is dashed, that people should jettison it. That if it's coming at all, it will be at the first anniversary of Mr. President's administration, which will be May 29th. So I have known not, but I suspected, I knew that, well, let's hear whatever intrigue will come because they must make a statement. So it was that Njoku man that now felt, okay, well, for that, let's just push something forward. They are not calling it minimum wage. They just said increase and drawing it back to January. Because how do you keep a people having the same issue and problem for 1 year? So it's okay, so that way there will be areas from January, February to April. Do you get? But good that Labour has said, we are not taking that because that's not the minimum wage. You have not said this is minimum wage because when you're talking about minimum wage, that's where you come to this percentage will be your housing. This percentage of your basic minimum wage will be your transportation. This percentage.
That's the way it's calculated.
Yes. That now adds up to the total. Sir, that's why I said, Awolowo said it is wrong to host people in the government house on account of you must use your money even to entertain your friends or family. Is that too different from what I said is happening in America?
Yeah, this particular statement from that I just read earlier, it's even as the cadre of workers that that will be affected by it. But you have spoken glowingly, and it appears you are a Awolowo disciple, by the way.
I never was.
Really?
By history and orientation, I am Fadahunsi. I am of the NCNC because that was what the patriarch of our family was in. And by loyalty, and you said it then to us as small boys, that pride yourself in loyalty more than anything. So if I have a leader that is not doing well, the best I can do is advise my leader or walk away. I won't stand against. I will never. So when people are not disloyal to, I just laugh. I say, then you are not priding yourself.
That will be a conversation for
another day. So what I'm saying is that I, as a student, if there's anywhere they want to counter policies of the Awolowo UPN, I will always be the choice if the position of the school is against. Do you get it?
Yeah.
But I sat down. How many of the African leaders, including Kwame Nkrumah, none has written their thoughts and mind on everything like I will.
Yeah.
So because he has written them, we can read it. Yeah. Even friends and foes.
We'll have that time. But we're talking about suggestions now. We've had some said $1 million naira, 900,000, 461, 467. For you, ideally, May 1st, 2024. If your opinion has to be sought, or if you have to consult for the labor, with the federal government, what do you think an ideal minimum wage should be, a realistic one?
10,000 per day. That would be like 300,000
in a month.
Per month.
Minimum.
Is it based on anything?
Yeah, I'll base it for you now. Now, our National Assembly in Nigeria, right, collect their wages. They have all the perks of office attached. Yeah. But we still bought vehicles for them at 160 million.
Let's say it's for the office.
Good. But some people don't have vehicles, and it's from that minimum wage they must get to work. Those who have vehicles, they will have to buy fuel from that wage to get to work. But people we have given 160 million vehicle to, we are still fueling. That's one. Two, now, assuming the least paid Nigerian worker is earning 200,000 naira per month, right? To attract that cost of that vehicle, 66 years of taking that.
That's what it will take such a person
just
to get that kind of a car.
At 200,000. No. That's what the cost of that one vehicle will do. 66 years of taking 200,000 every month. Can you see what we are really doing here? And we are now thinking it's too much for somebody to collect that. That was why I said in America, 10%. So when you want to come to the table with superior argument, if we have said dollar is everything, fine. If our president is earning 8 million, 10% of 8 million, if you factor it, sir,
that's 800,000.
God bless you.
But can we afford it?
No, you don't get. Why are we affording? You see, that's why I said leadership from up front. If we are producing enough and we ban products from outside and say whoever wants to trade with Nigeria must come to Nigeria to produce. Right. Do you know what we have that a lot of people don't? We have population. People look for where there is population to sell. Yeah. So it should be on our terms, not on theirs. Right. But when we now give pride of place to the currency of who was supposed to come and be begging us, hello, sir, Donald Trump has factory in China. Then we have a lot of people living in China. But if you want to bring products to China, come. So even they pay Chinese government to move products from American companies from China to America.
So, Comrade, ideally, 300,000 naira, it's
minimum.
And it's realistic.
No. Very. Hello, sir. One individual, 110 billion. Another one, 80-something billion. That's how it's going, no? That 50-something percent that goes to federal. So
you mean money should be taken off some certain individuals and some certain projects to fund this salary payment? Is that what you're saying?
My brother, if you Google how much is a kilometer of railroad by EECCC, whatever, that comes to Nigeria, and look at how much, you see, some of these things is when we interrogate them. All right. See Hadisi Rika. They are looking for him now. I don't know if Malami has responded to EFCC. You get, because all those people just sit down and do as they will.
Is with the AFCC.
I told someone, I said, Ekiti State Governor would sit down, bring template of what you want in your ministry or agency. You need to convince him. And they will say, he's funding that place. And before you know it, that place.
The current governor?
Yes.
Oyebanji?
Yeah. That place is turning things around and making revenue. You must give me a template of what is deliverable by reason of what we are putting. We impute, we don't care. Look at Ajaokuta, since it's been there. Now they are bringing the original people that, yes, that's a good step.
You're talking about wastages.
Wastages. It's too much. Hello, Femi, this is 100 million. How much gain can you make from this in a month? Go, work, results. All right. When you charge people, you can't give like talents that was given in the story of the Bible. Those who failed cannot even show face. They are ashamed. The lazy ones, they took from that one that did not and gave this one who will know how to manage. Just get such money just for government agencies and they will do well. We have people who do well in those. So that's why I said one person. A department one. All right. Look for, pick
Thank
the
you,
best.
Comrade.
We merit, where there is merit, pick them and put them in places, and we'll get Nigeria right.
Evelyn.
But the tyranny of the flesh must be part. All
right, Comrade, let's talk about the leadership and structure of the labor union. Nigerians at this time, I have an issue to pick with the labor union, especially its leadership, saying that it's a sharp departure from what we used to have. In fact, people will say the best leadership of the union ended with now Senator Adams Oshiomhole when he was the labor leader. Do you think the leadership of the labor union, Nigeria Labour Congress, and of course the TUC, they are not getting it right? Or is it the injection of politics into the NLC? Because a lot of people think they are more concerned about politics than fighting for the people.
I'll tell you the truth of it.
Go ahead.
Deft politicians are deliberate in state capture. They're deliberate. They don't make mistakes about it. The student union elections, don't you see what happened? They intervene. And they pick boys from the compound, maybe those who stay with their security or the press crew and all. Say, okay, you will be the next NAS president. Okay, you will be NLC. Do you get? So those, I'll tell you some of the things. I attended IFE. Yeah. As young students that came onto campus, we saw Dr. Fashina and others, Olorode, a prof of, I think, microbiology. who wears this trailer tire shoe. We call them Marxists then. So Ohiolei will take his students on botany, whatever, and feed them from his, you understand? That kind of thing sinks with young people. And Jingo's B2, if it spoils, he will walk home. You ask me how I came by bike. Is it a big deal? I've said it here before. There was a time my boys that were at the car wash as a retiree that I have were doing, I went there, I was washing bike for boys and telling them about this. That is the mentality that people have. That I am not envious of any human being on earth. Do you get? Because it's when you envy, you want to be like them. I don't want to be like them. I may not have a car. Jesus' ministry, he walked. Do you get? When he needed the donkey, I think he hired. That's hiring his Uber. For that time, I kept walking. But till today, his name remains. It's like history is his story. So to me, Bob Marley was asked, how rich are you? He said, are you talking about money? I said, dollars? Oh, no. So some people are so poor, all they have is money. Those messages he sent, generations are still listening to him. So it's not, you can drive a limo. Some people have identity crisis. That's why they want to steal. So those things are the things we need to look at. But I'm telling you, the right kind of leadership must change these things we are talking about. So the labor union leadership that we are talking about, some people who sponsored them, Ohiolei joined as a governor from being a khaki labor leader. But by the time he was governor for 2 times, and workers were like, I said he's supposed to. Look at what is going on in Abia now. I don't know if he's going to change his attitude about stuff like that. You will discover some things are happening that appear strange to the process of governance in Nigeria. It's unfortunate they might not like it. And as a person, you should have just looked for a way of, but in America, he exposed why people are taking billions and not doing anything at all. They don't even have documents. But bank records will show. This money went out. Where are the files for it? None. Do you get? But that is the kind of leadership that has cascaded down on all of these groups. The governors, the ministers, the whatever, were interested, and so they fund it.
So
and the process of funding it, they will fund delegates that will vote in an NLC election. They will now say, vote for this person. And so, you know the puppeteers that will be moving things.
So are you calling the likes of the NLC president, Joe Ajaero, the TUC president, Festus Asifu, as stooges for the government, so they do not ask the question what the government is doing?
The leader of the Electricity Workers Union before he became the NLC chairman. And at some point, he was almost going to be drawn away from the NLC when I think, what's the former governor's name? That was in the Labour Ministry. You get, and Nigeria was having issues, I think, with the Ayuba Waba group. And what I'm saying is, but as a person, there comes a time you sleep and you wake up and speak to your conscience and your mind. So it doesn't matter who sponsored you. It's what matters most is what you can do with your capacity to reason things and stand by it. Do you understand?
Or they say EU pays the piper, dictates the tune. If he was sponsored by some people, don't you think they have that right to actually tell him what to do?
Now, is Fubara dancing to the tunes of Wicked today? You may pay, but you should understand that as an adult, somebody has even children at home, grown children of like 18, 20, 25, as a parent, you say, I paid your way through school. I want you to say, no, I'm not. This is how I'm going. You may argue over it and all, and that child might just walk away and follow. If he now misses it and says, look, I have made my mistake. But if you force a line on that child and he now makes your own mistake, but Daddy, I told you, I can't do this.
Comrade Fadahunsi,
you forced me on that.
It's a big, I think it's a big indictment for you to suggest that the Labour leadership, you know, were sponsored, you know, by politicians. You know, person, I'm sure Joe Ajero or Festus Osifo will say, how dare you say that?
No,
Why
no.
are you alleging
What I'm saying,
that?
okay, maybe you're not getting this right. What I'm saying is that even if, but in most cases, they are interested. I told you I've contested an election for Inter-Party Advisory Council in this state before, and I became a secretary. The other side had always been with government. And we felt, look, you must say truth to power, and the way you are doing, you are just like an appendage of the government. That's why the government was giving half salary for like 35 months, and Inter-Party Advisory Council that's supposed to tell this is not done. It's unconstitutional, especially with pensioners. The Constitution of Nigeria says you cannot remove from the pensioners' pay to his disadvantage.
Let me quickly
So
ask
all
you
these
this.
things you get, but
Yeah.
because of that particular one, the election was held, the government side lost all the seats that the other side contested.
Let me quickly ask you this, Mr. Fadahunsi, because we have less than 3 minutes or thereabout. There has been this occasional division among the labor leaders. Festus Osifo will say, no, you didn't consult me. I'm not going with you. Gerald will say, we are all bent, we are going. We're seeing calls for strike, you know, that are not held just because the other side will say, oh, that was held, that was not that successful, just because the other side will say, no, we are not on with you on this matter. I want to ask you, is it necessary, is it compulsory that the two labor leaders, two union leaders, must they have to work together? Or there are times in which they must go their separate ways? And what does this do to the labor movement, knowing fully well that the government you are asking or you are sitting with, they know what they do?
That's what I wanted to drive at. Now, all labor unions before now were under one umbrella of NLC in the history of labor unions. But an idea of divide and rule, you understand, was what at some point brought in the TUC as another angle of maybe senior staff, whatever, of work, and then the other one. To my mind, I realized in the past, NMA, Nigerian Medical Association, ASU, TUC, Teachers Association, NOGE, and all of them, they are all unions standing, but all under one umbrella. So it is that same divide and rule thing that brought all of this about. As far as I'm concerned on issues of the labor union of today, Ajero has taken a departure from not standing with the workers. And 1 minute TUC will be this side, the next minute it will be, they will call a meeting. Ajero might say, look, this meeting is not necessary. We have asked you, we have given you a position. Let's hear your side. They will say the TUC attended. You get, so all those ones are just the politics of that issue. But mine is to even speak to government itself that the people are suffering too much. And unfortunately, you see, it is only the oppressed that can free the oppressors, according to Paulo Freire, in the pedagogy of the oppressed. The oppressed gets to a point of revolt, and we've seen it in Nigeria before. Beyond NSAS, that palliative crisis of that time. Senators, reps, even local government secretariats, they were bungled. Everybody, they went everywhere, and some would go and carry mattress in the quarters of the local government chairman. You get? So this is telling our leaders to please see reason that they think, yes, we have soldiers around us and all, that revolutions do happen when people cannot take it any longer. And that is why they need that rethink. It's not about NLC now. It's about the masses. The majority of Nigerians are suffering abject poverty.
All right. Comrade Fadahunsi, we are out of time, but you have spoken to the government. I would like you to also speak to the people who actually own this day, the workers. Talk to them in 30 seconds, 1 minute. We are out of time.
I want Nigerian workers at all times to be diligent in doing their jobs,
Right.
that will serve the mass of the people, and like a friend, say truth to power.
Say truth to power.
Like a friend.
Would like to appreciate you, Comrade Lanre Fadahunsi, Public Affairs Analyst and Labor Enthusiast. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you in the studio to
that is
discuss issues that concerns issues of national importance. And that's where we draw the curtains this morning. It's been a wonderful conversation with Comrade Fadahunsi. And his last words, always say truth to power. And he actually put those words there, as a friend. All right, you can watch a recap of this edition on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Western Spring Television. You can also drop your comments there. I would like to read them. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei. Happy Labor Day, and ensure to have for yourself a good day.
All right, and of course, taking from what Comrade just dropped as a Spartan shot, be diligent. Because you can accuse the government, we can blast them all we can of not giving the right remuneration. But many persons, we accuse the workers as well. I say maybe some rather, are not that productive. You just go there to do whatever you want to do. Make sure your conscience is your watchword. Femi Ojo is my name. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Happy May Day.